All right, welcome to Everything Under the Sun, where magic happens. Today, I kind of restarted my week in a better way, just because I kind of like I was saying earlier, how I realized that last 2 weeks for me have not really been. I haven't been doing the best of my potential, so I realized like I need something needs to change. So I've been going to the gym consistently. So today I went yesterday, and I almost didn't go today, but I was like, nah, I need to go. And little did I know I
Hey,
went.
thank God, right?
Yeah, and literally like yeah, and that's how I saw you, and like as soon as I saw you, like it clicked. So it's just like kind of going on, like going against like it's like we need to do what we think of, like what we think we're gonna do, as opposed to like no, like, I'm gonna change my mind, just because like whenever you follow through with what you say you're gonna do, like that's where like little sparks, little moments kind of happen. Because if I wouldn't have went today, I wouldn't have had this up today too.
2 weekends ago, I'm in Akron, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get done with my classes on a Friday. It's I don't know, probably about 11:30, maybe it's like noon, somewhere in that range. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna get stoned, fuck, sitting here in the park. So I sat there for about an hour, just got fucking really hot, and then out of nowhere, I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna drive to Columbus. So I ended up getting,
Fuck, dude. So you drove the opposite way too.
so I ended up getting on 70, and then going out towards I think it's Barberton, heading out that way.
Yeah.
And then got on the 71, went down to Columbus. No plan either.
It was just like whatever you were feeling at that moment. Damn, dude.
I had no idea. Like, I didn't even know like what I
What
was
you
gonna
wanna
do, what I
do.
was gonna do, like, or where I was gonna stay when I got down there. Like, I was almost like, shit, I might have to go home.
Damn. And now, are you somebody that spends most of your time, like, would you say by yourself, or would you say, well, like, are you somebody that's more like around others most of their time?
Dude,
Or-
honestly, it is so weird because I'd say this whole summer, I literally probably spent every time by myself. Like, running, the amount of running that I
Yeah,
started
that's true
doing,
too. Nobody can keep up.
it's like 2 or 3 hours of my day.
Mm-hmm.
And like I spend all that time by myself because like I don't really run with anybody right now. It's kind of just like it's on my own. Everybody's doing their own thing, and like
Yeah.
it's hard to meet up with people now in the summer. So like I kind of just ended up doing all my own running, and then when I'm at work, I was landscaping, which honestly that was an experience, not a great one, but it's an experience. Sucks, but like honestly, I liked being outside, but like again, the whole time I'm by myself. Like, yeah, I'm in the truck with them, but it's like for 20 minutes, and then it's like 2.5 hours of like going around condos and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like all by myself.
Have you ever done like any physical job like that before?
Honestly, no, that was the first time doing it.
See, I'm glad that that was the first time experience for you too. Just because I do believe that, as a human, we have to have a good balance of like who we are. And from what I'm listening, like it really sounds like, well, do you see a difference? I guess like this summer, like this year, like you doing this compared to like before. Like, do you see like your life? If when you look at your life in that perspective, like you being I know I know it's adjustment. I was like trying to drink sideways. But for you to just be like, spending time with others, and it's almost like, because I'm not from here, so when I moved here back in 2014, I never really fully fit in with people. And as I get older, I realize exactly why. Just because everybody's always living for others, and I wasn't used to that either. I'm kind of like the lone wolf, where like I'm constantly moving, so I'm constantly by myself. But that building me up, breaking me up, building me up, makes me who I am. So I think that you kind of started your
No,
your
I think I kind
awakening
of had that
journey.
experience. Like, I'll be honest, I was in a really bad spot, probably about early March.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was in the lowest of lows, and
This year, right?
yeah, this year. And honestly, I think it was because I was trying to satisfy everybody around me,
It's draining, dude.
and it wasn't necessarily the right thing to do because I was trying to satisfy all these people, but in turn, I was actually just hurting everyone because I couldn't fulfill all the promises that I'm making all these people.
It's almost like
And
unbalanced in you.
right, and it kind of just led me into going astray from like who I was and what my values are. So honestly, like learning how to be okay with like being by myself and like not being around people all the time, and like kind of just taking in the moment of like, oh, the working out, the whole experience. Like, I'm just doing it for myself. Like, I don't care if anybody else is around me. Like,
Uh-huh.
honestly, I'm just living right now for me. So,
And how do you feel? Like, how do you feel right now? What's your mental state? What's your
and now I feel like I'm a lot better because going back to school this semester, I feel a lot more confident going up and having conversations with people. And now I feel like I can put myself in social situations knowing that, hey, I'm going to be myself. And
Exactly.
like, if they like me, hey, that's awesome. Maybe we can be friends. Maybe, whatever. If they don't, I honestly don't care. Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't need them then.
Uh-huh.
Like, I kind of just like, I've really gotten the habit of just like, you know what? If somebody's like, doesn't want to spend time with me or like doesn't want to put in any effort, I'm like, fine, whatever, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you, and I'll block them like right there. Like I feel like I have that like kind of like self confidence now, and like I feel like there's definitely like I'm proud of who I am now. So like I'm not gonna let other people make me feel bad about who I am. So like all those people, just push them out. There's no need to have them there.
So that's I think I do believe that's the reason why me and you connect so well, just because like that's pretty much like my story. I guess in terms, almost be like not necessarily like an outcast, but like you just don't connect with people because you're always, like I said, you're trying to connect with everybody, but it's almost like you want to give out lovings too, but at the same time it's just like man, I'm happy that you found, like, you're starting to find who you truly are, that you're detaching from everybody's emotions too, because I feel like you're part of you.
No, it was so crazy. I mean, just think, a week and a half before school, I wasn't even enrolled. I had no idea if I
Damn.
was even going to go back to school this
Oh
semester.
shit, I did not
I was
realize.
trying to decide, and like I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for, and the whole summer I'm like, do I want to do education? Do I want to do education? Like, I think I wanted to test myself to be like, am I able to handle the responsibility of being in school? Like,
Yeah, that's this. That is huge.
and now that I'm in it, I feel like I'm working twice as hard to get everything done ahead of time so that I'm putting myself in good positions for when the exams come, when everything else is coming. Like, I'm trying to get to class every day. I feel like instead of sitting in the back, I put myself in front of the classroom and try and answer questions, test myself. Am I paying attention? Because if I'm wrong and she corrects me or he corrects me, hey, more power to me. Then I'm learning. Oh, okay.
Exactly, dude. You're tapping into like the flow of
Uh-huh.
everything,
And
and you're
it's
building you're
crazy.
building a very good foundation, because that is so important, especially for somebody like you. You're disciplined. You run every day. Like that was helps you like keep on. So once you take your power, dude, like, and this is in the course of months. The next year for you is gonna be like impactful and huge in so many
Mm-hmm.
ways.
Mm-hmm.
Once people realize their true power, like their true manifestation power, like, and they know how to utilize it, and they build good foundations with, like, with the best of their heart, and their intentions are there. So it's just like everything's like just comes your way, opportunities. So it's good that you're preparing yourself, that you're constantly on
Right.
it, because you don't want to get your shot and for you to miss it. You want to get it and for you to be like on it, for you to be like
Right.
100% like over and over.
I think honestly, a lot of these problems, like I'm not saying it's all because of it, but like it definitely didn't help. Like with the COVID shutting everything down, like it did. Unfortunately, I felt like I wasn't ever on a schedule, because I'm the
Oh.
type of person that's like, I have to be in class for me to like focus on school, and like
Uh-huh.
I had to honestly really train myself like this semester.
Oh,
It's
with the
still
online
hard to like,
school, huh?
yeah, it's still working with an online class and trying to make sure that I'm getting the work done and like making sure that I'm studying when I get home versus, oh, okay, I'm not focused on anything because I'm not at school today.
Damn.
So like it was definitely a challenge, like doing everything online and like really willing yourself to go through classes, especially at the time I was doing something I didn't really want to do. So like, first off, not that great of an environment. Second off, I just wasn't really that in love with what the engineering that I was doing. So like I think it kind of just like gradually like started eating away, and then boom, it was like landslide down. And I just remember like leaving college, going home for like 2 or 3 months, and like just every day doing the same thing. And like I still wasn't in that vibe. Like I was still kind of just like doing almost nothing. And eventually I was like, you know what? I need to start running. I need to start getting into shape.
Oh,
I
so
need to
you
get a
you weren't even
job.
running at all either then?
No, I
Holy
took some
shit.
time off because I ended up getting injured, and it took a while for it to heal, and by the time it finally healed, it was probably end of February,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of just like the start of the running for me. Kind of helped me get on a schedule, and then eventually getting the job, and then working. I had like a time where I was working, and then I would run, and then
So it's
eventually
almost
kind of
like,
like I set my own schedule up.
uh-huh.
So now I'm almost like at the point where I'm like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, school at this time, run before school, drive up there, do this. This is my time to study.
So
This
you
is my time.
organize
Like I
everything
have
too.
everything kind of organized in my head, and like I feel like that's what makes me successful now. And
Uh-huh.
it was just really hard to like train myself to like form schedules out of nothing, or like go and find something to add to the schedule that will help me, not necessarily break me down. Because at that time, the stuff that I was adding to my schedule was, oh, I'm gonna go get really fucking high. I'm gonna go get really fucking drunk, and
Uh-huh.
oh shit, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh my gosh, there goes my whole day.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, you know,
So it's almost like you fell for the trap. You fell for the system that kind of keeps you, because this year is also the year of change. So a lot of people are starting to kind of become conscious, and you realize that you what are you living for if you're just doing like this and that without like purpose. So I'm glad that you reconnected with yourself and started like throwing yourself out there just by you doing one thing, two things. Because I noticed you like to like
right?
you need to be have like so many things at once. Because if you have one or two things, you still have too much time on your hands that you're still
Exactly.
lost. You need like a lot of
Well,
stuff.
I
You need
feel like
everything
it kind
filled
of gives
out.
you like different things to shoot for. So like, I have different goals for all the different things I'm doing now.
So
So
you
like,
like
I really
diversity
want to work
too.
right. So like, adding those goals and like thinking of those goals now, it's like, oh, I want to try and finish on the dean's list for the semester. That's like one of my
Uh
goals.
huh.
I've only done it one time, surprisingly, and I should
Yeah.
be a good student, but I think it's just like
Let
the
me
lack
see.
of like caring at the time, and like really just kind of letting myself go. Like that was some of the problems with it. So like this semester, I'd really like to try and get myself started on the right foot and
Mhm.
like make that dean's list. So.
I'm glad that because that's what it is too. Like you had to start. You had to plan ahead. You have to start
Mhm.
it. And by you doing that, like you say, like you're succeeding. You're being successful in everything that you're setting out. To do and to be. So
Right.
that's so important.
But I think we also have to think of the goals in a way of like we can't set them so far away that they almost seem unachievable in the near future. Like you need the goals to be smaller that are achievable within, maybe a week, 2 weeks, couple weeks, maybe a couple months or something like that.
Mhm.
Goals that you can physically reach or mentally reach in that time frame or whatever. Because once you reach that first goal, I think it kind of gets that momentum going
Mhm.
where you start setting the more and more goals and stuff. And then those goals that you had at the beginning, those big ones and stuff, become more and
It
more
builds up.
attainable. Right.
Yeah. You're building up there, and like you're saying, like the momentum. Once you start going to that momentum, if
Mm-hmm.
you let go of it, you lose it. You gotta build it up. But if you keep maintaining that momentum, so you're almost like like it's almost like a stepping stone, and that's what Will Smith said, like like one, if you lay one break a day, like that's all it takes, like one kind of like small goal, kind of like that you're able to set daily, weekly, monthly, not necessarily like in those patterns, but scale wise, kind of like you were
Mm.
saying, like
Right.
smaller, medium, like something achievable. That way you can build up to that medium one, and then eventually you hit that one.
You know, one of the things that I thought was really cool that I ended up starting because actually one of my mentors, he recommended it to me. So we have a whiteboard and I hang it up in my bathroom. Or you can just draw in the mirror whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Write the goals on the mirror so that you look at them while you're
Every
looking at yourself. And then once you do, you get to erase it off the mirror and write the next one or whatever on the whiteboard or whatever. But like looking at it while looking at you, knowing that it's like attainable. So,
damn. Do you is that
mm-hmm.
something? Is that something that you do then?
Oh yeah, like I started doing that like every day. Like this is what I want to work for, like every day. So
Damn, that's nice. Just because that's like you're reminding yourself like every day too. Just because like sometimes people ask like, oh, like what do you look to every day? But if if you're kind of waking up, like first of all is like thankful for like another day, and then as soon as you kind of start going on your day, like you see like, all right, like here, this is my mission, like this is what needs to be done, while still like going on about your day, but you know what you're going after like every single time.
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
you're manifesting them closer and closer by the
Right.
action through it.
It's pretty much kind of like manifesting it. Like seeing it's kind of like believing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And actually and putting like the work, by you putting yourself like action and doing this, doing that, like that's what builds up to it, and it just kind of like you raise your frequency to be on that same achievable frequency because it's already out there. You just have to like align with it for you to
Mm-hmm.
achieve it, and that's exactly where you're going. So like, are you gonna be able to like maintain like all this momentum and like because like there's like the whole like roller coaster effect where people kind of go up and
Yeah.
down like that. For me, that happens too often sometimes lately. Are you gonna be able to maintain it as long as you stay on schedule?
Um. So I feel like these challenges are going to be coming up in the next couple months. Kind of just
Especially with
like
exams and everything popping
right
up.
as like school starts to get a little more into it, like with the class work and all the testing, and then eventually like honestly the weather and stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna start being like a little bit of a haul to get up there. But I think when the challenges come, I'll be ready to face them this time. Versus as long as I keep kind of that schedule and like know that like I can't give too much time to like activities that aren't gonna get me to my goals.
Exactly.
Like I have to keep reminding myself every day, like, hey, what am I doing this for? Like, why am I here right now? Like, what
Utilizing
am
your
I?
time.
Pretty much,
Utilizing your
like
time.
making sure that like I'm staying on task and like keeping like kind of that momentum of, hey, let's
Mhm.
get everything done early. Because the more I work hard at the beginning,
The more like time you kind of have to like see if anything kind of goes wrong or
right, you
sideways
have
or.
more time to kind of like, okay, I have all this done. Maybe I can apply more time here
Mhm.
and do something else with this, or I can apply some more time to just me and relax, or I can apply some more time to my running and end up focusing more on that. So like I think kind of just setting those priorities of like what needs done first will be kind of like that lesson I ended up learning that last year. So
Damn. And what kind of helped you maintain this mentality and this like because you have to almost like rewire your brain too into like all right, like determination, like doing one, like I guess what's like the ultimate like motivator for you if you had to like I guess narrow it down to a couple things or something, like at the end of the day, like.
I think the fact that I failed before, like knowing that I went up there and I did it the other way, thinking that I was gonna get away with it, thinking that I was gonna skate by the system or
Uh-huh.
whatever and avoid all the work and just kind of pass my way through it.
Yeah.
And I think failing as hard as I did, like realizing like, yeah, it takes work and like you can't just like be half into it and like you actually have to be like invested in something that you love for to be successful. So like knowing that now versus like when I was first going through it and failed, I think it's kind of like that's the motivator for me. Like, no, I know what happens if you don't work hard. Like, I've been there before, and like, I don't want to waste any more time. Like, I'm still young, but obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to waste more than I have to on something if I can just like work hard and get it done. So,
That's something I've been noticing with like our like around people our ages, like they're starting to like realize like their mistakes of like not necessarily like the like they're like the higher people, like whether parents or like stuff like that, like they kind of see like what kind of went wrong in them, and I think certain experiences kind of like shape you into like wanting that better version of life for you, and then I think for like people around you. So I think that will kind of help you like provide not only for you but for your family and others too, as like building your own like legacy in the sense of like you're setting out to do everything that you want to do too, and like at the same time like you gotta love what you're doing because a lot of the times people kind of just mediocre through whatever task they're doing, whether it's their job or like their environment, because they're like, oh, whatever, like this is all it is, and why should I care? And that same mentality is what kind of keeps them at that same kind of way until they realize like, no, like I deserve better, like I want better of me and others. So just like let me be that best version of me that I can, not necessarily for others but for myself, by by you building yourself up every time. You're also attracting others alike too, like vibrate in the same frequency.
Yeah, like what you did with the mic there.
Yeah, I forget about it. It's gonna take me some adjusting, but so far, dude, it's gonna take some adjusting, like I said. But I think this is gonna
This
this
is
is
a
gonna
nice setup.
this
I enjoy it.
I
So
think so. How this same vision was for me, it was back in 2018. Was this is exactly what was happening? It was a friend of mine actually after work. For that whole summer, that's all we were doing. Like before that, I wasn't really doing much of any like weed or anything like that. I wasn't really drinking. I was more like innocent to it. And then once I started like fully doing that, like we would come down in the basement and then like we would talk and talk and talk and like smoke and watch something and talk, and
right.
then like I had this idea where like, man, like why don't we record all of this, like all these conversations, just because like there were those type of conversations that they went so deep and like it was just like so much truth in it that like it helped me grow like as a person. Like I felt like I went from age 18 right there to like age like 24, like and like in the course.
Just through the conversations you were having.
Yeah, like for that summer, like just like the conversations and experiences that I was doing, like by talking and doing this and that, just because like so I'm fascinated by like how a brain, like how each person's brain is working, like humanity, like how they're like how they think and how they do. So he was so profound too that like we went back and forth exchanging like information. He was a couple of years older than me, so like he knew a lot and like I knew a lot in my way. And when we just like exchange like help, like I helped him kind of be more like outgoing and social, like, and then like we kind of like interchanged, like we kind of like bonded so much that the conversations got so deep that we were just like learning different things. And every day it's almost because I'm kind of like you too, where like I love science fiction, I love like learning, I love
Right.
science. So it's just like they're more like, and then we were just like, and we were both like that. So when we united into like learning the same things together, we're just taking so much information. And like my consciousness grew so much because I started asking the deeper questions every single time. So it's just like who are we, like where do we come from, like what is my purpose, like why am I here, like these deep questions that kind of like, it's like I want to find out, like I need to find out, because once you tap into something you can't like unsee it, like it's always gonna be there. And that's why like all the times we kind of feel down because we know what that is, and we're so far from it, what we're doing, that we just kind of feel down. But when we get closer to it we feel good, just because we know we're like kind of like holding on to like that aura, like that orb
Do you
around
feel like
it.
you kind of have that with, like with dreams almost? Just
I
like you have a dream and like that vision's kind of like there, like,
so
and it just pops up at random moments, and you're just like, holy shit, like.
So let me tell you this. The other night, you know how I told you how I finally scored my first goal in the league. That Saturday night, work was so bad, dude. Like I was so stressed, and like I wanted to be alone. And I came home and I kind of smoked a little bit, chill, looked at the stars, and that's when I started kind of like clearing my head about everything. And I was having these good conversations and everything. And then that night, I was watching some highlights. It was like 11:30. I was gonna wake up early. My game was at 9, so I wanted to go to bed before like 12. It was like 11:30, and I was watching like Messi highlights, and I saw Ronaldo score. And then like I just closed my eyes, and like I was just like I was doing like the Messi celebration. I saw it so clear where just like I want to score, and I kid you not, dude. Like I held back a little bit, but I started to like tear up for a second because it just felt so real. Like it felt like I was right there. Little do you know, the next day I'm in the game, and it's still early on. It's like the first maybe 12 15 minutes. The ball comes in the middle. They kind of, the defender and my teammate misses it, so I'm right there inside the box, inside the 18. I just kind of like hit it in, and like the goalkeeper's a little bit shorter, so I knew what his weakness was, and I kind of went over it too fast, and I scored. And I just like closed my eyes for a second, and like it was that same like feeling, dude,
Right.
like how
Yeah.
I envisioned it.
Dude, honestly, you talking about that today, like when I was over at Planet Fitness,
Uh
like
huh.
it made me want to go kick the soccer ball around. Like
Yeah,
that's
dude,
why
it's
I
so
ended up going home and
exciting.
ended up kicking the soccer ball around for about half an hour or two
Dude,
hours.
that's awesome.
Dude, tell me about your music.
So back in it was Black Friday, of like around Black Friday time, 2019, coming into the 2020 was when I invested on my computer, on my
Oh
MacBook.
wow.
And then I got me the audio receiver, and I got me a microphone, and I was like, and I got me a little boom arm, and I was like, man, like I need to, like I want to try it out, like see if I can do it. And then I ended up buying a program through Apple. It had a deal, it had a bundle deal. You get Logic Pro X, which is like the music DAW that you do, and then it came with the Final Cut Pro, which is a movie editor, like video editor. So I was like, man, those are the two things I'm doing. So like, this is perfect for like 300, and I invested in that. And then I was just kind of like trying different things, and like it's just so fun, and it just feels so powerful too. Just because yeah, it was 20. It was a year before. I had a rough year for me too, where like I kind of hit like the lowest of the lows around 2018 time. It's because I had broken up with somebody I was with like for like 4 years, Alex, and
Mm-hmm.
then like and then that just like I never saw it happen, that it just like took me in a wrong path where I started
Right.
drinking, like I didn't care. I was just like drinking, smoking, like I didn't care what I was doing. I was like, and then now doing this, doing that, and then like I realized like I had that big void that just wasn't fulfilled.
I need something to fill it, right?
So that's when I kind of started going up the path, and like there was a couple of times I'd be getting drunk and like putting like beats on, and I just be like jabbering, and then like like realizing that I'm having a conversation with myself. So what really did it for me in my one of our old houses that we lived in, I had like a room, and in my room there was like a half bathroom. I had a
Right.
toilet and I had a sink, so like I had like a little mirror there. I would hang out, and then I was like talking back and forth, and like something happened where like I was kind of like talking in English, but I was responding in Spanish, and like something clicked in there where just like like what is going on? Where like my left brain and my right brain were like disconnected. They were like communicating, and like they came back together, and then like ever since then I had like this idea of like I need to do it. I don't want to do it, and then little by little, like started. So I've been doing it for about a year now actually, and
Mm-hmm.
it feels so good. Like like just I love doing. So I like kind of I'm kind of somebody that I like doing every single thing I can. So for like in the music, I kind of like doing like I kind of like building it up from the bottom up. That way, like I know how to do every single part from like the production level to the like the mixing level to like the artist level to the
Mm-hmm.
like everything. I just want to make sure I'm able to do it because I'm still finding out like what I'm best at and what I love the most. But no, I think it's just so cool to like know how to like because it's almost like you kind of hear ideas and like in your head, like you hear like little certain things that kind of go, so it's like so cool to be able to like put it into like the physical form and like put it on, because like because music is so powerful, especially like whenever you smoke, like you feel like every
Mm-hmm.
vibration. So whenever like I just wanted to like, because for me like I had this idea of like, so I love driving, I love traveling, and I love traveling at night.
Yeah.
So like especially like I love when it's kind of rainy too. People are like scared. Oh no, I'm scared of the rain. But I love when it's rainy. So when I love kind of cruising and just like listening to like music. So I figure like, man, like what would be the best feeling if I can just like listen to myself talk and like sing and like and everything. So I was just like
A little
cruising.
narcissistic, it
Well,
sounds.
like that kind of drove me bananas, because I was kind of thinking like, cause I had a feeling, it was like I know, like I feel like I want to try it just because like everybody's doing it, like one
Yeah, why not,
yeah, it's just
right?
like why not? Because I'm somebody that I love trying different things to learn, like because I'm still finding out what I want to fully do and what I can do. So it's just like I like trying everything I can get my hands on, whether it's like anything really.
Dude, being high with music, when you're telling me about like how you feel the vibes of like the song and stuff,
Dude,
dude, I
dude,
remember I used to get so freaking high every fucking day. Like just I'd sit there, get stoned as fuck after class, then I'd turn the bathtub on, super scalding hot water,
damn,
basically, just fill it all the way up. I'd sit in there for an hour, like just fried as fuck, and I'd listen to music with my AirPods, and I'd sit there and scroll through
dude,
Renaissance art. I don't know
dude.
why I did it, but it was like kind of like relaxing, and I'd just sit there and just like look at like Renaissance art on my phone while I'm just like completely stoned in the bathtub with the lights off.
I'm trying to envision it now too, and it kind of sounds pretty nice, because I'm not a fan of hot water like that, but lately I've been kind of like using the hot tub, and not at first when you're going in, but when you're in there, like it does feel really nice on your body. So especially once you put the music on and you're by yourself, you're just in your environment. It's therapy. Like that's a form of therapy right there. It's so therapeutic. Yeah, you trying to make music?
Oh fuck yeah, I'm trying to
Okay,
make
let's go.
music. Dude, that was a fucking good conversation.